Hello again, everybody. I'm Brett Christofferson. He's Ricardo Arguello. We are with USA Today Network Wisconsin, and we're coming to you, I should say, back to you live from Rocket Stadium here on the campus of Neenah High School. It's a site of our Week 8 Varsity Game of the Week live stream, a Valley Football Association South showdown. Conference championship on the line, but it was a one-sided victory for the top-ranked and undefeated Fond du Lac Cardinals, who really tore apart the Neenah Rockets. It's homecoming night, too. They're supposed to be nice to the homecoming folks, but it was a 49-7 victory over the Cardinals. And, boy, home run after home run. I hate to use a baseball analogy, but we'll talk about it. The explosive plays, the explosive touchdowns, and we've seen it before with Fond du Lac, and they're clicking on all cylinders right now as they get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is one of the first of my 5 takeaways, Brett. And what can you really say about Fond du Lac?
They're good.
From the first week, we saw them at Kimberly. They have just been on a roll. They've been continually getting better, and they're scary.
Yeah, they are.
They're scary, explosive. In fact, that's how we should describe them from now on. Scary, explosive, because 40-yard touchdown run, 85-yard touchdown run, 40-yard touchdown pass, a very opportunistic defense that causes turnovers. I still can't think of anyone right now that's going to stop them, other than possibly Kimberly, on the way to a possible Division I title. And I talk to the players, too. That's what they want. They expect to be at Camp Randall. There's a confident team. Much different than I think the last few years when they had very good teams. Brett, this team's playing on another level.
Well, you mentioned Ricardo, 85-yard touchdown run, 76-yard run, a 41-yard run, another 41-yard run, a 46-yard touchdown pass, and then a 40-yard run.
Getting a 40-yard run.
What about Xavier Ellis? He only had a 10-yard touchdown run. What's the matter with that guy?
You got to get his game up.
You thought that they were close to 500 yards of rushing offense.
It might
tonight.
even be
more
than 500. I have to check.
In the slop.
I'm going to add up all the numbers. Please check out my story in tomorrow online at postcrescent.com. I'm going to try to add up everything and see what I got there. So, yeah, but that's scary. Again, it's incredible to think that this juggernaut they're just getting their groove now. They're hitting that postseason. They finish up at Spash, or they finish against Spash, and then they got the postseason, and that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the second season now, Brett. They secured the conference title. That's what they want.
I expect them to get to level 4. Who they play at that point, we're kind of hoping it could be Kimberly, or maybe they separate the two, and maybe somehow, some way, Kimberly and Fond du Lac could meet for the state championship. Wouldn't that be something down at Madison? Because Kimberly's playing really good football right now, although they've been kind of in a struggle with Kaukauna tonight. But that's a rivalry game against an up-and-coming program in the Ghost. But you were down on the field. Some of the reaction, I guess maybe that was what was the word from Fond du Lac. Maybe we expect to be here. But how about the Neenah side?
Yeah, and
what's the matter with the defense?
I talked to Coach Young, and he put it this bluntly, Brett. He's like, it was a man among boys. You know, they just out-physicaled us, and I don't care how good your defense is. When you get it taken to you and punched in the mouth and you can't respond, you know, and then they have the 2 turnovers in the red zone. You cannot do that against Fond du Lac when you have opportunities to put points on the board, Brett. And I said before the game started that Neenah had to play a perfect game to be in contention or just to hang with Fond du Lac. They didn't do that. They played well at times. You know, they kept it close for a while there. But, yeah, I mean, just too much Fond du Lac. Just too much up front, too much with the playmakers, and then the defense that, you know, causes turnovers. That's a volatile mix, and it did not work out in Neenah's favor.
Again, the same question I had for Neenah in Week 6 after they lost to Kimberly 38-0. Now another big game to try to see, okay, where do we stand with the big boys, the heavyweights, what Neenah is trying to get to. 38 points they gave up to Kimberly. Last week they gave up 25 to Hortonville. Now tonight, 49. That's a lot of points that this defense is giving up 3 weeks in a row.
You know, and they have to clean things up. They have the final game against Oshkosh West, and then they have the postseason. And Coach Young feels like, you know, we still got a lot of football left here. But for them to reach where they want to be, a lengthy postseason run, that defense has to figure out how to stop people. Right now, that hasn't been the case.
No, and in some positives, too. I liked what Sam Dietrich did from the quarterback spot. Logan Morrow really played well. But, again, both sides of the football, that offensive line, defensive line for Fond du Lac, so good. One of the best units in the state across the line of scrimmage on both ends. And they're opening up those holes for guys like Evan Sauer and Xavier Ellis and Carson Raditz, the dual-threat quarterback. Those are some big holes. And they don't even need big holes because of the speed that they have as well. So it's going to be fun to watch what Fond du Lac does and how Neenah responds. going forward. So some other takeaways.
Two more.
You got two more.
Well, no, three more. But the next two takeaways are, first off, Little Chute and Wrightstown, and those are two connected teams because they're going to battle next week, Brett, in the game that we're going to live stream. Little Chute with the win over Denmark clinches a share of the Northeastern Conference. Wrightstown took it on the chin tonight. They lost to Luxembourg Casco, very good Luxembourg Casco team. Now that team has traditionally been very, very strong
in upper level too.
In upper level, and so but now that sets up Wrightstown versus Little Chute. Wrightstown kind of flew under the radar a little bit. I did not give them a vote in the medium division because I just think they're lacking a little bit in the playmaker department. Okay, now Little Chute, you look at that roster, they're all over the place. I just think Wrightstown, more collectively, they're very good. They don't really have like the kind of stud players that Little Chute has, but that's all going to come to we're all going to realize everything come next week. But right now, in my opinion, Little Chute has to be favored going into that game. I think they're the best team in our area in terms of Division 4. And we're expecting a good game, but I'm expecting Little Chute to pull that one out because right now the Mustangs are again operating on they're hitting on all cylinders, Brett, and they look fantastic.
Right, a chance to win the outright conference championship. Yeah. Now, of course, Wrightstown's going to be inspired. They're going to want at least a share of that conference championship. So that's a game we're going to be streaming Week 9 at Wrightstown High School. Live coverage will kick off at 6:45 p.m. on all of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites and Facebook pages. What else do you got for your takeaways
Well, our last
tonight?
one is the Apple Bowl. You know, I believe FVL won. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We were expecting,
I'll check. We were expecting FVL. I mean, this is what it comes down to. Both FVL and Xavier need a win to qualify, or at least put themselves in position to qualify for the playoffs. Now, Xavier, if they did indeed lose, and they were losing,
FVL wins 13-7.
13-7, a close Apple Bowl game. Those are traditionally been very good games between those two intra-city rivals. Kudos to FVL. They needed that win. They came in 3-4, so now they're at 500, and now they have a position now next week to secure the playoff spot. For Xavier, ouch. It's done. They do play Waupaca in the final game, but that's unfortunate for the Hawks, you know, to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs. But kudos to FVL. Now, that FVL, I saw them the first week of the year, Brett. I saw them on Thursday, the first game of the year against Clintonville. They looked fantastic. They've taken some lumps. You know, they have 4 losses since then. But for them to get the big win over their rival and then also keep themselves in contention for a playoff spot, big win for the Foxes. That's a good team. They're lagging in some areas, you know, defensively. I don't know. Sometimes they did hold Xavier to 7 points, but offensively they have Jacob Ullman. They have some really good pieces there to do something on offense. So big win though for FVL to put themselves in position to make the playoffs.
Not only that, they get that beautiful Apple Bowl trophy.
Yes, yeah.
And I say beautiful in quotes because
you're being sarcastic.
I'm not sure what that thing is, but they do love playing.
That apple's a little bit askew. It's an interesting trophy to say the least.
By the way, Kimberly, they do beat Kaukauna 28-7 tonight. So Kimberly playing good football as we expected them to be at this point of the season, and you know we're going to hear from them going down into the playoff road as well. So you got anything else, Ricardo?
No, I think that's it. Those are my 5 takeaways.
Well, again, we will be streaming Little Chute Wrightstown next Friday, Northeastern Conference battle, Week 9 already. Where did the season go? I'm ready for playoffs.
You wanted to be here in shorts.
I can't be. It's freezing cold outside, and it's only October 5th. This is crazy. It's time to go home and sit by the fireplace and maybe have a little warm cup of cocoa too, huh? It's winter time pretty much, but hey, 6:45 again. We'll kick things off Week 9, and then we can finally get into some good stuff because I'm tired of these blowouts. I want to see some good, close football games, especially when we get into the levels 3 and 4. So for Ricardo and Rosie, who's hanging out in his Brewer garb right over there, is celebrating a big Brewers victory tonight. I am Brett Christopherson saying so long. We're again once again the final score tonight from Rocket Stadium. Final act 49 and Neenah 7. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.